and other conditions. We use the traditions of centuries-old natural science from India, yoga, Ayurveda, acupuncture, and naturopathy in personalized programs that help you take charge of your own health. A minimum 5-day stay is recommended for best results. Book now at WION.com.
India's Budget 2025 is here. Will it fuel growth or deepen inflation's bite? Will it support the rupee and markets? From tax reforms to middle-class relief, we decode what's in it for you. Stay ahead with our expert analysis and global perspective.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
The Earth is sending distress signals. Wildfires, droughts, and melting glaciers. Can we reverse the damage? Explore the harrowing effects of climate change. It's a wake-up call. Global emergency. Climate Tracker on WION World is One.
Symphony of patriotic tunes coupled with battlefield valor. Those were the visuals of the beating retreat ceremony that marks the end of India's Republic Day celebrations. Hello there, you are watching Inside South Asia with me, Dasuni Athauda, and here's what we have in store for you this week. Is Bangladesh on the brink? Nearly 6 months after a new dispensation, unemployment in the country has risen, with the economy taking a nosedive while investor sentiment has plummeted. Adding to the worries is the US now blocking any and all aid to Dhaka. This only means that the country's hole of problems is only getting deeper. Here's the story.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear to preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
A new dispensation in the White House adds up to deeper troubles for Bangladesh. High on President Trump's list is a review of all US aid overseas. Washington directed partners to suspend any work under USAID Bangladesh contract, work order, grant, cooperative agreement or other assistance or acquisition instrument. That puts an end to US aid for Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh, besides multiple industry and infrastructure development projects. $2.4 billion has come from the US alone since 2017. It comes as another blow to the already bruised and battered Bangladesh economy. Economic growth fell to just 1.8% in the July to September quarter. Inflation climbed to 11.38% in November. Food inflation was up to 13.8%. The economic slowdown has had a direct bearing on employment. The number of job seekers is up to 2.66 million, a 6% increase compared to the previous year. The outcome is stark. Private investment has been stagnant. The manufacturing sector, including the vital garment industry, is struggling with disruptions caused by labor unrest and financial constraints. 6 months into his tenure, the interim Bangladesh government's chief advisor diverts blame, saying this is what his government inherited.
Suddenly a new government emerges after so much killings. The law and order situation became very critical. So how to restore law and order? This is the first thing to do. It's the immediate thing to do. And next thing you do, build up the economy again. Let the economic machine run, because this whole thing stopped. And when you try to start the machine, the economic machine, you say that machine is completely destroyed. Because this is economy which is plundered away.
Many of the troubles derive from what's seen as a rising mess on the political front. Chief Advisor Yunus has got domestic and global flack for delaying elections in the name of reforms. Yunus had announced that the Awami League would be kept out of any elections to come. Many see this too as an attempt to muzzle democracy.
So going forward, we need to play on two different planes, the political plane and the economic plane. On the economic plane, we need to ensure strict discipline and governance in the banking sector. And we need to stick to contractionary monetary policy and fiscal policy, even if it comes off at the cost of some growth slowdown. And on the political plane, we need to have a clear roadmap about what reforms will be prioritized over the next 12 months and whether Bangladesh will have an inclusive election 12 months down the line. Because if at the end of the day, Bangladesh again has a one-sided election, or all parties are not allowed to participate, and the election is not credible, then there will be serious concerns for political stability.
Experts say it boils down to lack of discipline in the financial sector, lack of stability in investment policies, bureaucratic complications, and a missing optimal branding. A calculated exploitation of anti-Hindu sentiment and pro-Pakistan alignment have spiked tensions in the region. Bangladesh's future now hinges on a delicate balance of domestic political developments and international interventions.
Among those affected from Donald Trump's order that now blocks refugees from entering the US are Afghans who sided with the Americans against the Taliban. In the present backdrop, they now live in Pakistan with the fear of being deported back to Afghanistan. Their lives are now in a very dangerous limbo. Here's more.
August 2021, Afghanistan, when US troops withdrew from the country after 20 years. The pullout was part of an agreement negotiated with the Taliban under the first Trump administration, though it happened under the successor, President Biden. As the Taliban stormed back to power, the US conducted a massive evacuation operation, airlifting more than 120,000 citizens, American citizens, Afghan allies and others. Many who were left behind were promised refuge in the US. But as things stand, there's no end to their plight. 4 years on, with Trump 2.0 in the White House, the same anti-Taliban pro-US citizens of Afghanistan who sought refuge in the US not far away find themselves kept out. Afghan families stuck in Pakistan hold up banners urging Trump to exempt them from the bar order. They find themselves in helpless limbo.
When we heard the news that President Trump had suspended the refugee program, including for Afghans, since then we are in shock. We can't go back to Afghanistan. If I go back, I will face hardship and may be killed.
Many affected by Trump's refugee bar order are Afghan lawyers and judges who put Taliban fighters behind bars. They are members of the Afghan military who trained and fought alongside American troops. Over the past year and more, Pakistan has upped drives to have them deported to Afghanistan. They can't go there, and the US doesn't want them.
My request is to the newly elected President of the United States, Mr. Trump. For God's sake, listen to us. Our patience has run out. We have lost everything. Our economic situation has become absolutely zero. We are facing food shortage. We can only feed our children 2 meals out of 3. I spent 3 years in single-room accommodation along with my 3 kids.
It goes beyond Afghans in Pakistan. Over 40,000 Afghans around the world pursue resettlement in the US. Some 10,000 have even got US clearance. Trump's blanket order, though, means the uncertainty continues. Has the Trump administration turned its back on America's Afghan allies?
Tragedy struck at the Maha Kumbh mela in Prayagraj, where 30 people lost their lives owing to a stampede. What really went wrong?
एकदम से पब्लिक फंसी, एकदम से भगदड़ भई है, आने जाने का रास्ता नहीं मिल पाया। रोड
कि जाम में लगे हमके नहाने के लिए जाने तो बड़ा भीड़ हो चुका है। भीड़ से मने मम्मी बोलल कि जल्दी आपस हो जाओ, जैसे आपस होतन के आपस होखे में सारा हम रेडी मार के सफा हम दिका चार दे रहे सब के दांत दे बहिनी भीड़िया जैसे आई तो के आ जाई तो के सब एक कम रहला हम साइड में रहली वो जौन आवत और नहाए हमन के नहा जात रहली वही में इन्होंने मोटरिया गठरिया लेके गिर जाता रहे। अच्छा बुढ़ावे
Distressed families looking for their loved ones outside a makeshift hospital. Clothes, blankets and backpacks strewn at the site of the stampede that struck at the heart of the world's biggest religious gathering, the Maha Kumbh mela. An estimated 80 to 100 million devotees had assembled in Prayagraj for the second Amrit Snan on Mauni Amavasya, or the new moon day. It's a gathering like no other on earth. But even with all the extensive preparations, the day started off on the wrong foot. A devastating stampede claimed 30 lives and left nearly 90 injured. The tragedy unfolded in the pre-dawn darkness as thousands surged towards Triveni Sangam, the confluence of the Ganga, the Yamuna and the mythical Saraswati rivers, trampling other pilgrims in their path.
रात्रि को 1 से 2 बजे के बीच में अखाड़ा मार्ग पर, जहाँ पे अखाड़ों के अमृत स्नान के दृश्य से बैरिकेड्स भी किए गए थे, तो बैरिकेड्स को फांद करके आने में कुछ श्रद्धालु गंभीर रूप से घायल हुए हैं उन्हें तत्काल हॉस्पिटल में पहुंचा करके उपचार आदि की व्यवस्था उनके लिए की गई है। उनमें से कुछ श्रद्धालु गंभीर रूप से घायल हैं।
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi condoled the deaths. He was constantly in touch with the Uttar Pradesh government, monitoring the situation.
मैं महा कुंभ में जो दुखद हादसा हुआ है, उस हादसे में हमें कुछ पुण्यात्माओं को खोना पड़ा है। कई लोगों को चोटें भी आई हैं। मैं प्रभावित परिवारों के प्रति संवेदना व्यक्त करता हूं।
In the wake of the incident, Akhada saints called off their traditional procession early on Tuesday. But once the administration took control of the situation, by afternoon, the seers resumed their second Amrit Snan.
आज जो ये सुबह घटना होने के बाद में भी हमें बड़ा दुख हुआ, लेकिन भगवान की असीम कृपा से ये 144 साल के बाद में जो कुंभ आया है और उस कुंभ की रौनक को बढ़ाने के लिए संतों ने पहले तो निर्णय लिया कि भाई अब क्या करें। दुख तो उनको हुए है, लेकिन फिर भी संतों ने कहा भाई अमावस्या का 144 साल का बरस है। सनातन धर्म की बात है कि सनातन धर्म मानव जाति के इतिहास के हर युग में प्रासंगिक रहा है।
As the Maha Kumbh Mela fervor continues, devotees and security personnel are now gearing up for the next Amrit Snan on the 3rd of February on Basant Panchami. For now, people are being told to bathe at the bathing ghat nearest to them instead of heading to the Triveni Sangam.
Sri Lankan President Anurakkumara Dissanayake visited China this month with the aim of bolstering ties with Beijing. Sri Lanka is now looking at investment opportunities rather than loans when it comes to bolstering ties between Colombo and Beijing. Take a look at what President Anura Dissanayake had to say.
විශේෂ මා හිතනවා ලෝකයේ දිළිඳුකම පිටු දැකීමේ ප්‍රයත්නයේදී චීනය තමන්ගේ කාර්යභාරය මැනවින් ඉටුකොට තිබෙනවා. අද ලෝකේ පුරා ජීවත් වෙන සියලු පුරවැසියන්ට රාජනායකින් වෙත දුප්පත්කම තුරන් කිරීම සඳහා චීනය විසින් ලබා දෙන ආදර්ශය ඉතාමත් වැදගත් කාර්යභාරයක් ඉටු කරනවා. විශේෂයෙන්ම ශ්‍රී ලංකාව තුලත් විශාල දරිද්‍රතාවයක් දිළිඳු භාවයක් තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා අපේ රාජ්‍යයේ ප්‍රධාන ඉලක්කයක් බවට පත් වී තිබෙන්නේ දිළිඳු භාවයේ තුරන් කිරීම. එම දිළිඳු භාවයේ තුරන් කිරීමේදී චීනයේ ආදර්ශයන් ඉතාමත් වැදගත් වේවි. ජනාධිපතිතුමා සමග කරන ලද සාකච්ඡාවේදී අපගේ රාජ්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ට ඒ අධ්‍යයනය කිරීම සඳහා තවත් අවස්ථාවන් ලබා දෙන්නට එකඟ වුණා. ඒ වගේම පෞද්ගලික මාධ්‍ය තුල අපේ දූත කණ්ඩායම එවැනි ගම්මානයක් නැරඹීම සඳහා යන්නත් අපේක්ෂාවෙන් ඉන්නවා. විශේෂයෙන්ම අපි හිතනවා ලෝකයේ ක්‍රමානුකූලව පොසිලි ඉන්ධන සඳහා තිබෙන ඉල්ලුම අවුමින් තිබෙනවා. ලෝකයේ අනාගතය නිර්මාණය කරන්නේ පුනර්ජනනීය බලශක්ති ප්‍රභවය. ඒ ශාස්ත්‍රයේ චීනය ඉතාමත් ප්‍රබල ජයග්‍රහණයක් අත්පත් කරන් තිබෙනවා. අපේ ආණ්ඩුවේත් බලශක්ති ශාස්ත්‍රයේ පුනර්ජනනීය බලශක්ති ශාස්ත්‍ර සඳහා ඉතාමත් ඉලක්ක සහගත වැඩපිළිවෙළ සකස් කොට තිබෙනවා. අන්නෙම ඉලක්ක සහගත වැඩපිළිවෙළ සාර්ථක කර ගැනීම සඳහා චීනයේ තාක්ෂණික සහාය, චීනයේ ආයෝජනයන් කෙරෙහි අපි විශ්වාසය තබනවා. එක් රාජ්‍යයන් තමන්ගේ නවීකරණ මාවත තෝරාගත යුතු වන්නේ තමන්ගේම රාජ්‍යයට අනන්‍ය වූ පරිදි. මා හිතන්නේ නැහැ කිසිදු රාජ්‍යයක ආර්ථික සංවර්ධන මාදිලියක් තවත් රටකට ඒ විදිහටම කොපි කළ හැකියි කියලා. සෑම රටක්ම තමන්ගේ සංවර්ධන මාවත තෝරා ගන්නකොට එම රටේ පිහිටීම, එහි තිබෙන ස්වභාවික සම්පත්, එම රට ගොඩනැගුණු ශිෂ්ටාචාරය, ඒ මොහොතේ පවතින ලෝක දේශපාලනයේ ස්වභාවය, ඒ රටේ ආර්ථිකයේ ගොඩනැංවීමේ පදනම් ආදී සාධක ගණනාවක් සැලකිලිට භාජනය කරනවා.
High-value plastics such as bottles are easily absorbed by the recycling industry. Low-value plastics such as multi-layered packaging often don't fit into each of these categories, thereby posing a risk to recycling all over the world. In Nepal, a bunch of entrepreneurs have found a solution into turning these low-value plastics to something useful. Take a look at their story.
Every day, Nepal's urban areas generate about 5,000 tons of solid waste, 13% of which is plastic waste dumped in landfills, according to the World Bank. Worldwide, only 9% of plastic waste is recycled and 19% is incinerated. And nearly half ends up in controlled landfills. Accumulating in the environment, this plastic waste is non-biodegradable, which takes hundreds of years to decompose and break down into tiny microscopic particles. In Nepal, which has banned single-use plastic bags thinner than 40 microns, the implementation of the ban is not strict.
There are plastics that cannot be recycled.
There are plastics that cannot be recycled because they might have multiple layers and don't fit in a single category. They are a major problem.
Multi-layered packaging products pose a significant challenge because they don't fit into a single recycling category. But for this group of young Nepali entrepreneurs, the vast accumulation of the low-value plastic waste presented an opportunity: a plastic road. Traditionally, in road construction, bitumen is the binding material. A taddy oil product mixed directly with hot oil aggregates before paving a road. In the plastic road method, however, the aggregates are first coated with shredded plastic before adding bitumen.
Road construction as a raw material, bitumen.
In road construction, raw materials, when we used plastics as a partial substitute of bitumen, we saw scope of using such low-value plastics as well. So road construction is a better option for management of such kinds of plastics.
Management ko lagi chahiye better option dekheko.
Additionally, the method reduces the need for fresh raw materials, lower costs, prevents water infiltration, and increases the lifespan of roads. Studies have established that roads paved with plastic waste can be twice as durable as normal roads. Given such benefits, an increasing number of countries are experimenting with this method, including nearby Bhutan, Bangladesh, and neighboring India. Though it is yet to be established what environmental impacts, if any, these plastic roads have, for a developing country like Nepal, the usage of low-value plastics in road construction addresses dual problems simultaneously: the need for strong, durable roads and the management of plastic waste.
And that's all we have for you on our show this week. Before we leave, British singer-songwriter Ed Sheeran was in Bhutan this week and became the first international singer to perform live in concert in the country. Take a look and I will see you next week. For the WION team, I'm Dasuni Athauda signing off.
It's